Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. So I'm here doing another quick update on the Bitcoin price and along with the Bitcoin miners, and we might see a really tough week for these Bitcoin miners because of the overreaction of what happened with Bitcoin's price, and it all has to do with a lot of various different things coming together to cause this huge crash to the downside. But like we saw, it may have gone down to 51, 52,000, but we did see a nice move towards the upside to where we now have levels of around 56 to 57,000, which is a good place to stay at after such a huge retracement. So as you can see here on CoinMarketCap, we saw this news line about how China's blackout and Bitcoin hash rate correction caused the BTC price crash. And this is one part of it because we saw, because of these blackouts, we saw the Bitcoin miners' hash rate, which is the rate at which they mine these Bitcoin, decrease immensely because of them being offline. So whenever that actually happens, and we see it in the chart here, we see this chart here on Glassnode, every time it happens, if we zoom in here on when the miners had the blackout here on this red dot, we see that the price action for Bitcoin here in this gray line actually has been decreasing since then, and since the hash rate has recovered a little bit, we saw that Bitcoin also has recovered a bit. But these two are correlated together, the hash rate and the Bitcoin price. But apart from that, is we're at a very critical moment for Bitcoin. We saw it retest the supporting line of this ascending wedge, and right at that moment, a lot of people were very adamant of Bitcoin's rally towards the upside, so they opened up a lot of long positions and set a very over-leveraged trade to see Bitcoin move to the upside. And like we say before, in this market, if everybody's thinking it's going to go one way, then it usually goes the other way because we actually have the onset data for these over-positioned long trades. And we can see that because we saw that it was the most liquidations that happened with this drop in Bitcoin's price. And it was all because of this blackout along with the Bitcoin correction that caused a lot of these traders to be liquidated out of the positions and to see the Bitcoin price fall so much. So it says here, China's Xinjiang province powers a huge chunk of Bitcoin miners, and with this blackout, the BTC hash rate collapsed significantly, leading to further price correction. So that was kind of like the first domino of this domino effect, causing the price to just fall down very dramatically. But like it says here, this is a very good buying opportunity for Bitcoin investors, right? Not just for traders, because obviously a lot of traders got liquidated out of the price. But if you're in the cryptocurrency marketplace to invest and to hold on to your positions to see continued upside towards the end of this year, then it is a great opportunity to buy Bitcoin. But as of now, the hash rate has been fully recovered. So that's why we saw a nice steady increase of Bitcoin's price, right? After such a huge dramatic fall, we saw a nice steady increase, but we need to hold certain price targets, and that's what I'm going to go into in this video, is not only why did the Bitcoin drop so much, but what can we expect from these miners in the next coming week to see if they have support in their price structure to withstand this huge correction for Bitcoin, or if they are doomed to drop down even further down. But we're going to take a look at the charts right now. So let's get started. But if you enjoy this, these topics, then why don't you hit the like button? It really helps out my channel a lot. But let's get into the charts. All right, so let's take a look at the MARA chart, Marathon Digital. And as you can see, my charts are kind of noisy. There's a lot going on, but let me just break it down for you. So we have on the right side, these columns here to the right is our volume profile. And what basically it tells us is where we see the most volume, right? The bigger the candlestick right here is, the more the volume has been traded in that area. So you see a lot of traders trading the MARA price here at this area right here, around the $37 to $39 mark. And usually when we see a lot of high volume in certain areas, we can use these high volume nodes, this area right here, as support if it's bouncing above it, or as resistance if it's going into it. So as we see here, coincidentally, when we have the most trade volume is the same area as this resistance box right here. So we see price fluctuate between this using as support and resistance. So we see that as a good thing for the price of MARA, at this $37 to $39 mark. And that is why we saw a lot of bouncing from this area and also price stagnation, if you will, in this area. So we see not only the high volume node in this area, but we also see a lot of other stuff kind of supporting the price at this area, which was the reason why Mara stayed in this range for quite some time on Friday. So we see our resistance box also, which are good areas to put in a long position because we see price fluctuate between it. Right here, used as resistance, quick flush down. Here, used as support for a minute before it ultimately broke down. And then also right here, using as support for now, which is what we see so far. But we do see also a Fibonacci right here support at the 0.5, which is at $37. We see that as support too, along with our ascending upwards trend line right here. So we're just seeing a lot of support happening in this area. So it is a key crucial area to hold as support, because if we break through this price, that can lead to another sort of correction to lower prices. And we're going to take a look at those lower prices for now, and we can see that if we were to break towards the downside of this critical area right here, we could see it actually move down here towards this golden pocket, which we also saw a lot of price movement towards the upside. As we can see here, when we found the price moving down towards this $32 mark, we saw a huge move to the upside because it bounced off of the golden pocket, which is right here at the 0.618 to 0.65 area. And we saw that many time and time again right here, right here, right here. So my next price target would be, if it were to break this $37 price target right here of support, we could see an eventual move towards this golden pocket to move towards the upside. And as you can see, when we have high volume nodes, like an area where there's a huge volume spike, areas where there are not huge volume being traded are areas of low volume right here. And usually if there's low volume, the price might just quickly go down to it. So that is why this is a crucial area to keep as support, because if we were to break down, we were to see another eventual move because of the low volume in this little area towards this golden pocket because of these low volume nodes. And then the next high volume node I would see would be right around this area right here where I drew my other resistance box right here, around the $25 mark. So if we were to break through this and not bounce through this golden pocket, we could see the price go down to $25. But I don't think it's very likely, because that would mean another reversal in the trend, because this is a lower low, a higher low, and this would be our other higher low. If we were to break down past this area right here of $29, around $30, then we would be creating a lower low and starting another move towards the downside. So I don't really think that's likely with the price of Bitcoin steadily increasing, but those are the price targets you want to be on the lookout for. You want to see if this price holds here at this area of confluence with the high volume node, the 0.5 Fibonacci support level, and also this resistance box where we see the price actually move sharply to and from. We want to keep that as support. If not, we will see it move towards the downside of this $32 to $31 mark, and then there find maybe support here at this high volume node at the $25 mark. So those are areas to look out for. If we see a bounce through here, we can expect a retest here of this fib level at $47. And we can also see it used as support to make our eventual price target here at 57 back towards the all-time high or the recent all-time high. And that's what is looking for Mara. Let's take a look at RIOT now. RIOT is looking a little stronger, in my opinion. But let's pull up the chart here. So we got the same thing going on here. We have our support and resistance area up here. So support here and resistance. We see here in this consolidation pattern of the symmetrical triangle. It has still not broken out yet. I know we had a little bit of fake out, but now since we added some more data into it, I kind of fixed the shape of this symmetrical triangle to now include as much data as I can. But we see our high volume nodes are in this area, so this would be a key level to hold as support, and which it has kind of time and time again. And we see our another area of support would be if we were to break through this ascending support trend line, we would see a bounce here of the golden pocket at around $40.46 to $38.44. So we could see a kind of a little fake out and then retrade on this support to see a continual retest of this resistance up here. But if we were to fall down there, as you can see, we have a lower volume nodes here. Our next one would be right around here at the 28, because we have a Fibonacci retracement support here at the $29, $30 mark. So if we were to see continued movement down from this golden pocket and we wouldn't see a bounce, our next price target would be at $30. And then from there, our next price target would be right around here at $26. So that's the bearish scenario for Riot. So if it were to hit any of these levels, I would have buy orders right here and also some right here if you're willing to go long on this investment and then see if it can retest our descending resistance line here at $53 and then retest the support to ultimately further move on to this breakout. But Riot is looking a little bit better just because it's still consolidating in this pattern. It hasn't broken it just yet, but if we were to break this $44 mark and then test the golden pocket, then that's what you want to be looking for, if not the lower levels. But that's it for Riot. Why don't we take a look at SOS, our last Bitcoin miner here. And as you can see, sorry, I drew some patterns right here. I wanted to get rid of those. But as you can see, it is still in this wedge, this descending wedge formation. I have altered it a little bit just to include as much data as I can within this pattern. And it is holding strong still. So let me just get all this other stuff out the way. And also what the high volume profile and volume profiles in general tell you is they kind of outline the area of most volume with this red line. And we can usually see this red line act as support and resistance, just like how we use the high volume node. It shows you the most, and we can see it actually used as support and resistance on our chart right here. We can see it as support here, right? Just having a wick toward the downside, but using it as support. More wicks here. We see another wick here as support. Once we broke through this, we used this descending pattern, this descending trend line as support, but we ultimately could not get back up past this resistance line and use it as support until we finally broke through. But then ultimately right here, we tried to hold it, but we still couldn't, and we broke back down into it again. So one thing to look out for is we have to hold the support right here at $4.14. Any lower when we break this pattern. And then what we'd want to see is, because we're already at the apex, we want to see a retest of this descending resistance, and then use this new line right here of the high volume profile as support instead of being used as resistance like we saw time and time again. So that is what we're looking for SOS. Then to ultimately move up towards these areas right here, these fib retracements, because I got the low, the swing low to the swing high of this bull run towards the upside, and we're seeing these levels play out. So let me get rid of the volume. So what I want to see is a retest of this descending resistance as support, and also a retest of that $5.15 area, because that's where the most volume was being traded. A lot of people were buying and selling at that $5 mark, so we saw that as key resistance towards the last week to now be trading in this $4 range. So what we want to see is use that as support to ultimately move up and test these fib retracement levels, which the price has been kind of fluctuating in, and use them as support to ultimately test up here this golden pocket area, which we will most likely see a bounce back down here to consolidate. But that is what we're looking for. Remember, $5 target is a very important area. If we were to break down towards the downside, I would see a price target at around $3.30. So like right around here in this area. That would be my next price target if it were to break down. So like a dollar move. But at the same time, SOS has been trading in such a tight area. I don't really see it breaking down towards the downside. And we're also seeing a decrease in volume right here of selling pressure. So the selling pressure is decreasing, and we have to be on the lookout for, remember, Bitcoin's price, but also some green buying candles to see if the bulls are back to buy more shares of SOS. So that is what we're looking for. It is a good thing that we're seeing decrease in selling volume, but we want to see an increase in buying volume as well. And just looking at that volume profile like we saw before, that red line is acting as huge resistance at the $5.20 mark, just like I was acting as huge support back then in March. So we need to break above that as well to keep remaining bullish on SOS. Let's take a look at the EMA too. EMA is also showing as resistance in this area right here too for the price. So another confluent thing to see here, that $5 to $5.30 mark is a huge resistance for SOS at this point since it got pushed so far down. So now we have to be on the lookout for that and breaking towards the upside. Remember, those are the price targets for the upside. For the downside, I'm expecting a drop to the $3.30 to $3 mark, where we see some more volume take place. But other than that, that's what it's looking like for SOS. A lot of these Bitcoin miners, we just have to take a look at Bitcoin, because then we can see and take action on where we want to set up our long positions or our short positions if it doesn't hold certain levels, and just go from there and make as much money as you can from these Bitcoin miners. But remember, it might be a very hard week for them too, because of the news and the lack of knowledge that goes on in the crypto space sometimes with new traders that are very scared. They just want to sell as fast as they can. So be on the lookout for that, just in case these go down. But remember, if they go down significantly, that can give you the perfect area to buy in and set up a good long or short position. So basically from this video is the Bitcoin's price was affected by hash rate and also over leveraged traders, but it is not the beginning of the bear market just yet unless we get confirmation of lower lows. But remember, 55,500 is the key support to hold for Bitcoin to continue its uptrend. And also these Bitcoin miners, as I mentioned before, the price targets on where to buy, where to sell, what areas to hold on to for the price action to see where it can go in the future of this next week or next 2 weeks. But that is what it's looking like in the chart so far. But remember, always just be on the lookout for Bitcoin's price. Right now, it's still reversing. It's not looking bad, but we'll find out before pre-market tomorrow if the price is going to shoot down a little bit more. But that is it for this video. Remember, hit that like button. It really helps out my channel. If you found this information informative or useful, let me know in the comments down below what else you want me to take a look at, and any altcoins you want me to research too, and do some chart TA for it. Just put them down in the comment section and I'll take a look at them. But other than that, have a good one. Have a great weekend. Remember, don't be too scared. If you're informed, then you know that this is a great opportunity to buy. And that is it for this video. Peace out.